Yo! What is going on YouTube? It's your boy Dan, aka aDrive, and you an epic NU Wi-Fi battle against the man himself. His name is Shady Penguin, guys, and he is an awesome YouTuber as well. So make sure you check out his channel in the description if you've never heard of him. I don't know what planet you're living on, but go check him out either way. He's awesome. And if you guys could, let's bug buzz this video to 200 likes. That would be absolutely fantastic. Before we get into the teams, I'm going to ask you guys our question of the day. What is your favorite competitive Pokemon and why? Mine is Shedinja, and you will see why in this battle. So just kind of running through my team. This is kind of the team I've been using quite a bit of, and it's kind of a variation of a team I used like a couple years ago, actually, in like 4th gen. If you like dig way back in my channel, you'll find some videos of a team with Shedinja and like Kangaskhan and Armaldo and so on. But this team is basically revolving around Shedinja. I carry 2 Rapid Spinners, both Shell Shocked and Ellie. You know, I got my War Turtle and my Sand Slash, and then I have 2 Guts Abusers to kind of take the status from Shedinja otherwise. So someone wants to try to Will-O-Wisp or Toxic my Shedinja, I switch into Ursaring or Swellow, which are both carrying orbs anyway, but they'll absorb that status for me regardless and be able to hit like trucks. Mismagius is there to give me some, you know, offensive support from the special side. Also has an ability to set up and sweep late game, so that's kind of what I'm thinking here. Looking at his team, he's got a very, very powerful NU team. A lot of NU staples in there, a lot of big threats. He's got a big defensive core, including, you know, Weezing and Regirock, and I'm thinking that the Miltank is likely specially defensive, and the Ludicolo is likely kind of either an Assault Vest attacker or some sort of kind of mix set. We'll kind of see. Mismagius is always a problem. I'd imagine that's his setup sweeper as well. And the Magmortar, I'm not really sure. Those things can run a couple different sets, but his team doesn't have a whole lot of speed. Mismagius is pretty quick, and Miltank is pretty quick, but because I think his Miltank is specially defensive, that Magmortar might be something to kind of watch out for. So I look at the teams and I say, okay, you know what? War Turtle does really well against his team. Aside from maybe Ludicolo, War Turtle handles pretty much everything, so I need to keep War Turtle alive for as long as possible. I'm expecting him to lead with Regirock or Miltank to try to get him with Stealth Rocks. That is actually not the case. He leads with Mismagius here and goes for a Dark Pulse, which isn't something you see too often. In this turn, I actually click Toxic, which you don't get to see because I actually get the unfortunate flinch hacks. Not a huge deal, but still kind of a bummer. Then he shows Thunderbolt, which I was a bit surprised about. It turns out Shady was actually just trying to predict, didn't want me to go into Sand Slash, and didn't want me to go into one of my normal types to take the Shadow Ball. So I go for the Scald, fishing for a burn. I didn't know if he would stay in, which is why I went for Scald, because my thought was, if he's going to hit me with a Dark Pulse, you know, then he probably doesn't have Thunderbolt, and I can take a Shadow Ball relatively well. So anyway, he goes for that. He makes an excellent prediction here and hits my Shedinja with a Dark Pulse coming in on the switch. So now my Focus Sash is broken, and here I am left with, you know, broken Focus Sash, half health War Turtle, and this Mismagius is still putting in work against my team. It's clear that it's got a lot of coverage. I was writing down its sets as I was playing, and I figured Shadow Ball was another move, and his last move I couldn't figure out. Maybe Dazzling Gleam? I couldn't really tell. But it was clear that this thing was doing a lot of work to me. So I make a very bold switch here and go into Ursaring. The reason why I went into Ursaring is I felt that he was going to go for Shadow Ball at this point, and he outpredicts me again. So then he goes for Dark Pulse again instead of going for the Thunderbolt. A little bit less damage, but I'm able to live it. That might have made a difference. I'm able to take him out with a Crunch here, and that's actually going to be the first KO of the match. So we're going to be able to knock out the Mismagius, but my Ursaring is severely weakened. I lost my Focus Sash from my Shedinja, and my War Turtle is below half. It is not a good start for me, guys. I figured at this point in the match I was pretty much kind of screwed, truthfully, because all he has to do is, you know, send out Stealth Rocks and it's over. He's going to send out Magmortar, and at this point I realize this thing is Scarf, so I lose my Ursaring because of it, because I am running Quick Feet Ursaring as opposed to Guts Ursaring, which actually he never found out. But I lose Ursaring over that, Smokey goes down, and it's kind of unfortunate. So I'm going to bring, you know, I got my War Turtle out here. That's going to scare out his Magmortar. He realizes that I'm fully specially invested based on how little that Dark Pulse did earlier, so he's actually going to switch. I predict the switch and go for a Toxic. I figured he would either go into, you know, his Ludicolo or his Miltank, and either way, I'm able to get a Toxic off on it and do some damage. You know, most of the time Miltanks do carry Heal Bell, but if he is carrying Heal Bell, then that's going to mean he's defensive, kind of like my thought process. So if I force him to use a turn using Heal Bell, that's fine with me. I'm going to predict either the Body Slam or the Thunder Wave here. Truthfully, I did predict the Thunder Wave. Went into Sand Slash because I figured this is a good opportunity for me to get up my own rocks. And if he wants to set up Stealth Rocks of his own, because at this point I still thought maybe his Miltank carried Stealth Rocks, I'd be able to Rapid Spin away. Having 2 spinners on this team is very important for Shedinja, and you know, there's not a lot of defoggers that are very, you know, good in NU, with maybe Dustox as an exception. I mean, Pelipper's okay, and Mantine's okay, yeah, Mantine's okay too. But I'm able to get up my Stealth Rocks as he switches into his Jazzy Hands, or All Hands, his nice little Ludicolo here, Ludiolo. And I've faced a lot of Ludicolos in my day, guys. I play a lot of NU. This is kind of like my home tier, so I felt really good in switching in in Shedinja here, most of the time, the only thing that Ludicolo can hit Shedinja with is knockoff. So I bring in Shedinja, and this is basically me baiting. Like I said, this whole match, anytime I run the Shedinja team, I write down every move my opponent has and start to guess their moveset, because it's very important for Shedinja to be able to know what I can stay in on and what I can't. So knowing that he switched out there against my Shedinja, that tells me his Ludicolo cannot touch me in the slightest, which is really, really good news for me. That means I can get my Shedinja in at any point against his Ludicolo, and it's a free switch in. So it in some ways makes his Ludicolo useless until he gets up his Stealth Rocks. So he burns my my Shell Shock here, he burns my War Turtle. Not a huge deal. What I'm trying to do actually is get to Torrent range. So you'll see I'm actually able to take a Sludge Bomb right now. It does a lot. But it puts me to Torrent range, and I'm going to be hitting him with a Torrent boosted Scald here, which is going to bring him down quite a bit, and it's going to bring him down to about 25%. I get the lucky burn, which is kind of important. I mean, I hit him with 2 Scalds. It's about a 60% chance or 30% chance, 2 rolls, you know, however you want to look at it. So Shell Shock goes down, not a huge deal. It did its job, and it was able to hang in there long enough despite the fact that early game, it didn't really do anything at all, right? So that was kind of a good thing that I was able to actually do something. So in comes Hermione, or Hermione, as Shady likes to say. And Hermione is here to basically set up and try to sweep. That's my thought at this point. I can hit Miltank pretty hard, even though it's specially defensive. I know I have to get a Nasty Plot up to really do too much to him, but based on his set, I'm thinking he might not have anything to hit Miss Magius. So he's actually going to go for the Lava Plume here with his Scarf Mag Mortar. That is going to break my sub. I thought maybe I could substitute on a Will-O-Wisp or something like that from Weezing, or maybe he would try to Pain Split or something, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to be able to get off a big Shadow Ball, but it does not actually take out Mag Mortar. It's got a lot of natural bulk, and if you're not hitting it super effective, it's going to be tough to take down in one hit, even after Stealth Rocks damage. So he's going to go for a Lava Plume, get the burn, which kind of stinks, but it doesn't really make any difference again because it is a double down. Shadow Ball comes in, takes out the Mag Mortar. Miss Magius and Mag Mortar both go down due to the Life Orb recoil and, of course, the 2 Shadow Balls. So here we are at a 3-4 match. I'm left with not a whole lot to kind of work with here. I got Taillow Swift, which hits pretty hard, but he's got 2 big defensive Pokemon on his team. One of them is whittled down quite a bit, but the other, Shots Fired, coming in here, is going to be really tough for me to take down. I really have nothing for this thing, and it's going to be really, really difficult, considering I know he's going to be carrying a Rock move. I know he's going to be able to probably have Stealth Rocks, and it's not a good situation for me. It doesn't look too good. But I go into my fully defensive Sand Slash here, which is really the only thing I could go into. I wasn't going to bring in Shedinja on a Rock-type Pokemon, and Swellow's weak to Rocks too, so it didn't really make sense. Shedinja was my only switch in, kind of obvious, so the U-turn comes in. Get me out to Shedinja here. Or, I'm sorry, into Ellie, our Sand Slash, and he doesn't want to stay in. After seeing that Drain Punch damage, he's like, whoa, that did absolutely nothing. So, let me switch out my Miltank. I know I could maybe go for some Body Slam or something like that. I'm going to go for the knockoff. I thought maybe I can knock off either the, any sort of recovery on any one of his Pokemon, or I was trying to catch that Weezing on the switch in, or really just anything. Knockoff is just kind of my best play there. I could have went for Earthquake, but I didn't want Weezing coming in and getting a free switch in. So, I'm going to be able to go for the knockoff. Hit off the leftovers off the Miltank. He does show the Heal Bell here, which is going to cure his Toxic, and the burn off the Weezing. So I think almost the burn off the Weezing is the more important part here. I'm going to kind of calc and see how much this Earthquake's going to do. About 35%. So knowing that his moveset now is Thunder Wave, Heal Bell, and Milk Drink, because I know Milk Drink's on this thing based on the bulk. His last move is probably Body Slam just for stab. So... because he wouldn't run no attacking moves. So that makes me think, okay, he's going for the Milk Drink now. I'm going to go into my Taillow Swift here. And the reason why I went at Taillow Swift is to get my Guts boost activated. I didn't think he was going to Thunder Wave. There was no point. I had a Sand Slash out. His best play there was to Milk Drink. So I made a little bit of a bold play, but I had to get that Guts boost off because I need to, be able to bring this thing in later and spam Facade against something that hits a little harder. So... anyway, my switch is into You Missed, which I have calculated at this point in the match walls 2 out of the 4 Pokemon left. It walls Miltank and it walls Ludicolo. They cannot do a single thing. All he can do is paralyze me, which is exactly what he does. And that kind of plays into what I wanted to happen. Shedinja being paralyzed doesn't really hinder it at all. It's not really there to sweep a team. It's there to lock the opponent's team into a situation where they can't hit it, and I pretty much win by just whittling it away with, X Scissors or whatever it is, right? So it wasn't a huge deal. I'm actually glad he Thunder Waved me because that meant he couldn't use Will-O-Wisp with Weezing. So in comes his Weezing. I don't know what he was going to do with this thing because he switches in hoping I get fully parried. In all honesty, it doesn't make a big difference. I switch in this situation and I go into Taillow Swift here, and that's going to give me a really good opportunity to take out this Weezing. Now, had the Weezing, had I stayed in, I do carry Shadow Sneak on my Shedinja, which I do think is an important thing to note here. I would have had 2 opportunities to try to take out this Weezing, and I don't really think it could have done much. It's probably carrying Sludge Bomb, Will-O-Wisp, maybe Pain Split, and probably Thunderbolt for coverage, something like that. So I don't really think that Weezing would have been able to really do anything to me since I was already paralyzed. So I go for a Facade. It actually gets a crit, so kind of an unfortunate crit there. But you'll see it doesn't really make a huge difference. I actually U-turn out. This Regirock has no form of recovery, and even without the crit, let's be honest, he would have been at 30% right now. But he could not touch my Sand Slash, so it just saved a little bit of time. He would have been switching back and forth. He's going to go for the Fire Punch here, fishing for that 10% burn chance and hoping to hit that Shedinja on the switch. He does indeed get that burn, which is insane, dude. Like, what? How? How did you get that burn? You wished for it and it happened. But it's not going to make a huge difference. He comes in, goes for a Drain Punch, trying to recover some HP. Again, not a huge deal. I'm pretty much in a decent spot here to hit him with an Earthquake and kind of wear him down. I'm burned, so it's not going to do that much. But his Regirock, as bulky as it is, does not have a lot of health left. So my Earthquake is going to come in and actually knock out the Regirock and put me in a 3-3. But again, let's remember that Shedinja walls 2 of his Pokemon entirely, and his Weezing is at 2 HP after Stealth Rocks. So in comes Nips. Shout out to Nips. Here's a little Miltank, the awkwardly nipple-bouncing Pokemon. And again, I switch out here. Really no reason for me to stay in. I know I wall him 1,010% with Shedinja, and I could just sit in front of him all day with this thing until he brings out his Weezing. I knew it would have been a little bit of a stall war here because I would have just been clicking X-Scissor, clicking Will-O-Wisp, trying to burn this thing, trying to wear it down. He's got Milk Drinks, but I have more Protects, more Shadow Sneaks, and more X-Scissors than he has, Milk Drinks and all that other stuff. So he's kind of in a tough spot, and I hate to kind of put him in a situation, or anyone in a situation where it's kind of like a stall war towards the end. I never want to do a stall war. That's annoying, right? But Shedinja kind of creates its own kind of stall in a way in that obviously it's like immune to so many different things. A lot of people don't like Shedinja. A lot of people think it's such a cheap Pokemon. But when you look at its list of weaknesses, it's not that good. You really have to build your entire team around the Pokemon. And I did that just here. It works out in this situation. There's been times where I've gotten absolutely destroyed. All it takes is for my opponent to have a really good Grass Pokemon and a good Stealth Rocker, and my team gets kind of destroyed. So it's kind of a situational thing. It's a fun team to use. It's a blast. I love this team. I used to rank the ladder with it, but it's it's hit or miss, right? One wrong matchup, one kind of funky set. If someone's running something a little weird like random Smackdown or something like that I'm not going to predict, it's going to put me in a bad situation. So in comes the Weezing. You see he's at like 0 health. I'm going to go for Will-O-Wisp here just kind of to get the burn off. He was hoping for the Paralyze. Had I gotten fully paralyzed again, I wouldn't have stayed in, first of all. Second of all, I could have gone for a Shadow Sneak, though. So had I gotten the full para, I would have probably went into Sand Slash. So that's going to be able to take out the Weezing at that point, and that leaves him with just Miltank and Ludicolo. At this point in the match, Shady realizes that Ludicolo and Miltank cannot touch my Shedinja, which was my suspicions from earlier, and Shady runs. So good on him for finally running at the end there, and not wasting time. That's the honorable thing to do, truthfully. He didn't give up. He had nothing to hit me. So that was it, guys. Excellent match against Shady. It was a lot of fun to battle him, and like I said, I saw he was asking for challenges on Twitter for NU, and I couldn't pass it up because NU is like my home base. It's like my tier. It's everything that I know for battling. So it's a good battle, a good match, dude. Guys, make sure you go check out Shady's channel in the link below, and definitely hit that thumbs up button for me. I would greatly appreciate it. This has been your boy aDrive. Thanks for sticking around. I will catch you guys later. Peace.